Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In this video, I want to discuss the concept of fidyah and how it should be done according to scholars of Islam. As far as the Quran is concerned, the word fidyah has been used to connote two meanings. One, ransom, that is to be paid to save one's soul, and the other is restitution, that is to be paid or done in lieu of an obligatory duty that one was unable to perform. So generally, when you look at the word fidyah in the Quran, let's take for instance, Almighty Allah says, فَالْيَوْمَ لَا يُؤْخَذُ مِنْكُمْ فِدْيَةٌ وَلَا مِنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مَأْوَاكُمُ النَّارُ. Today, on this day, that is on the day of judgment, لَا يُؤْخَذُ مِنْكُمْ فِدْيَةٌ, no ransom shall be taken from you, the hypocrites. وَلَا مِنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, and neither will any ransom be taken from the disbelievers. So in this ayah, fidyah has been used to imply ransom, something that can be presented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that the kuffars and the hypocrites will be saved from hellfire. So on that day, there is no ransom. We also see in Surah Al-Ma'arij, Allah says, يُبَصَّرُونَهُمْ يَوَدُّ الْمُجْرِمُ لَوْ يَفْتَدِي مِنْ عَذَابِ يَوْمِئِذٍ بِبَنِيهِ. On that day, the criminal will wish, he will hope, he will pray that he can use his children as a ransom to escape the wrath and punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in fact, Almighty Allah mentioned, وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا ثُمَّ يُنْجِي. He would wish that he can use the entire humankind to beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to serve as a ransom so that he can be saved from hellfire. But Allah says, there is no way. So this is one connotation of the word fidyah in the Quran, whether as a verb or as a noun. But Almighty Allah again subhanahu wa ta'ala also uses the word fidyah to connote restitution that is to be offered by the Muslim when he is short of an obligatory duty. For instance, Allah mentions with regards to the Hujjaj, the pilgrims in Mecca, Allah says, فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا أَوْ بِئِ أَذًى مِنْ رَأْسِهِ فَفِدْيَةٌ مِنْ طَعَامٍ أَوْ صَدَقَةٍ أَوْ نُسُكٍ. Whoever amongst you is sick or has injury on his head, then he should offer fidyah. The fidyah here is restitution, which can be ta'am, food, or sadaqah, or something given in charity, or nusuk, or a sacrificial animal. Also, with regards to the fasting of Ramadan, Almighty Allah says, وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ مِسْكِينٍ. As for those who experience extreme difficulty in observing the Ramadan fast, who cannot fast because of their conditions, Allah says, فَفِدْيَةٌ, then they should give fidyah. And the fidyah to be given is ta'amu miskin, feeding the poor among the Muslim community. So this is what fidyah implies in Islam. Now, with regards to Ramadan, if one falls within the category of the terminally ill, someone whose sickness is such that we do not expect him to be healed from it. For instance, there are people with cancer, there are people with diabetes who have been advised to not observe fast. Also, there are people with extreme ulcer cases that have been advised to not fast, or maybe due to old age. And there is no specification for the age, but it is such an age that one has been advised to stay away from fasting. Then these people are to give fidyah. Also, some of the ulama have mentioned that when a breastfeeding woman, a nursing mother, fears for herself and for her child, then she should give fidyah and should also repay the fast after the conclusion of the month of Ramadan. So in any case, these are the categories of people that are expected to give fidyah. Concerning how the fidyah is to be done, I've heard several people say that the needy person has to be fed both at the sahur and at the iftar. And this opinion seems strange because I have not read it from any scholar of note as far as I've researched. What the ulama have mentioned is that there are two methods of giving the fidyah. The first method is to give food grains, and the second method is to cook food and either invite them to a feast or take it to them for consumption. If one decides to give food grains as fidyah, then the ulama also have divergent opinions concerning the value of the grains to be given. The view of the Jumhur ulama, the majority of the ulama, and in this case the Malikiyah and the Shafi'iyah, is to give muddun and kulli yawm, a handful of food grain per day minced. As can be seen in the video, when one can give a handful of the food grain per day minced, or it can use the mud cup to give the food item. The second opinion is that of the Hanafiya. Their view is that one is to give a saw. A saw is 4 handfuls of the food item, just like we give per head for Zakatul Fitr. But if it is wheat that one wants to give, then it has to be nisfu sa', half of the sa', which is 2 handfuls. The Hanabila are of the view that one is to give nisfu sa' per food grain, 2 handfuls or 2 cups, as the case may be. But if it is wheat, then it has to be a full sa'. So we can see that the Hanafiya and the Hanabila are on opposite sides. The food items to be given for fidyah are the staple foods, the common foods in the society where one lives. So it could be rice, it could be gari, it could be beans, it could be maize, it could be guinea corn, it could be millet, it could be just any food item, flour, or any food item that is consumed in one's community. If one decides to give the food item like that, raw food, the scholars have mentioned that it also amounts to charity, that one adds some things that will make the food consumable for the poor. It could be meat, it could be pepper, it could be ingredients, and so on and so forth. One may also add some amount of money to aid the preparation of the meal. It is not compulsory to do this once one has given the value of the grain, but it is part of charity to the poor. But if one decides to prepare a meal, then it shall invite the poor people by the number of days that he has missed. So if, for instance, one has missed the whole 29 or 30 days, it means he has to feed 29 or 30 poor Muslims. That is if one decides to make a feast, like Anas bin Malik used to do when he grew old. He would make a meal and invite 29 or 30 poor people to come and eat the food. If one decides to take the food to them, then it will also be the equal amount of number of days that one has missed. If one decides to be cooking per day and feeding the poor, then all he has to do is to cook a square meal and give it to the poor person in lieu of the day that he has missed. This can be done either at the beginning of the month. One can do it all together at the beginning. One can do it per day. One can do it per two days, or as the case may be. One may decide to wait until the first 10 days and then feed 10 poor Muslims. Then the second 10 days, he does the same, and the last 10 days, he does the same. And one can also postpone the whole thing till the end of the month. Whichever one does, it's a matter of jurisprudential discussions, and the ulama have said all of this is allowed. This is the preponderant opinion among the ulama. So this is what the Fidyah is about. Wallahu ta'ala alam.